Hello, Ungoogleable. Welcome to your life. Today is beautiful. Please log in.
I told you I was with my friend Jimmy.
You ran. You just lost your car.
Why?
Because it's 10 o'clock. Do you know how worried I was about you? I called Angie. You said you were going to Angie's house. She said she hadn't seen you. Who's Jimmy?
My friend Jimmy.
From where?
He went to Willow Glen.
How did you meet him?
MySpace.
Okay, you're grounded. You are absolutely grounded. Catelyn didn't know where you were. Danny didn't know where you were. Kevin didn't know where you were.
You called Kevin?
Yes.
Why would you call Kevin?
We called everybody.
Thanks, Mom.
This is out of control.
Thanks, Mom.
Thanks. I was ready to call the police.
Why? I'm 18 years old! 18!
You cannot.
I'm not 16! I'm not, young and, stupid!
Look, you live in this house.
I understand!
High school.
I understand! But I'm 18 years old!
I don't
Turn
care.
that off!
MySpace? You know that could have been a pedophile? That could have been a pedophile.
Murderer.
A murderer. You could have been
A
raped.
rapist.
You could have been raped.
I thought you were
You could
dead.
have been raped in the
Why
ass.
didn't you pick up your...
I'm
You
sorry.
called me
I'm sorry.
twice!
Why didn't you pick up
You
your
called
cell
me
phone?
twice!
You're
Why didn't you
grounded,
pick up
honey.
your cell phone?
Because it was in the other room.
We had this conversation
Oh, you are so grounded.
yesterday about you getting off work and not coming home and not telling me where
I'm
you were.
18!
In the butt.
You live here. As long as you live here, you tell me where you're at.
Okay, so I'm 18, so you have to know
You're
where I'm at every fucking second of the day.
No, okay, do you want to lose your car for 2 weeks? You just lost your car for a week.
1 week.
1 week.
And I think it should. I think it should be more than that. Just because it's a guy on MySpace. MySpace. Can't you find a nice guy somewhere else?
Listen, that's dangerous.
That's dangerous. In the butt.
Where did you meet him? Where did you physically meet this guy?
At his friend's house.
Oh, was his friend on MySpace too?
No.
Who was his friend? Who was his friend? And how'd you meet his friend?
Kristen.
What?
You need to get some sense in your head. You could have been raped.
Oh, this is
I'm not even laughing.
This is a joke.
I'm not even laughing.
Yes,
You could have been
you are.
raped in the butt.
Just stop.
You could have been raped. You could have been raped.
That thing off.
Oh, and by the way,
No, I just...
Murdered.
how could you even think of
Okay.
that? Get some sense in your head.
You know what?
YouTube.
This is not a joke.
YouTube, MySpace.
You know what?
This is going on
This is
YouTube.
not funny. Turn it off.
That's why you're laughing.
I'm telling
That's
you.
why you're laughing
No,
at
I'm
me.
telling you what.
In the butt.
You're going over the
In
line.
the butt. In the butt.
What?
Look at that. Look at that. See that girl over there? She could have been raped in the butt. Oh, look at that.
You do this to me.
Ooh, I got crying on the videotape. This is a family video that will go down in history.
Turn it off. I mean, it's just going to be deleted anyway. Turn it off and go downstairs
all right, I'm
and
going
play with your
downstairs.
friend Nick.
In the butt. On MySpace. In the butt. In the butt.
Okay, that's enough.
On Singapore. Just ahead of them, 30,000 British and Commonwealth troops retreated across the narrow causeway onto Singapore Island. Steadfastly guarding the rear were the Argyll and Sutherland Highlanders.
We were the last of the British Army over in the Malay side. There's not another British troop over there except the 90 Argylls. That's all that was left. The seal gave the order retreat and the two pipers piped us across the causeway. Very slow tunes they were playing. They were saying, come on, hurry up. There was a big woof.
we knew that the causeway had been blown up. We were a fortress under siege.
We were actually on the causeway when it blew up. That's true. Yeah, but, oh, they made a mess of it. It was only a little bit. They only blew a little bit out, and the Japanese had it fixed in 2 or 3 hours. Hopeless. Everything was a shambles. Everything.
I said, that's the end of the British Empire. I think it was.
There were cases of desertion in the British, Indian and Australian ranks as the Japanese proudly pressed on into Singapore.
日本の国内の人たちに東洋の
We were keen to show off to the people of Japan what we were doing.
我々が攻略して陥落すると
There we were, off to invade the fortress of the Orient and bring it to its knees.
そういう気持ちは持っていましたですね。
Allied ships docked at Singapore till the 11th hour, delivering troops who would be captured without firing a shot and evacuating civilians. For many of them, it was a jump from frying pan into fire. Ships were sunk, their passengers drowned or taken prisoner. Sent out to pass on what he'd learned fighting the Japanese, David Wilson had very mixed feelings.
At first, the delight that one was getting out of this hellhole. Secondly, a terrible sort of feeling of regret, almost cowardice, that one was running away from a battle, albeit under orders.
The nurses were also ordered out.
The nurses came round, our ones on the ward, and they were crying, told us they've got to go.
I've always said that's the worst thing that happened to me in my whole life. But they said, you know, goodbye, good luck.
They didn't want to leave, didn't want to leave us, but they'd been told to pack their things to evacuate them, get them away.
As we walked away, I walked away with the doctor. They were still calling out, goodbye, good luck, sister, and then almost an inaudible voice said, good luck, sister, she'll need it. We heard afterwards that our orderlies had rifles anyway, and they were going to shoot us, so our chances weren't very good anyway.
Your own orderlies were going to shoot
Oh, yes.
To save you?
Oh, yes, they weren't going to let the Japs touch us.
3 days after the nurses left, the British surrendered to a Japanese force half their number. Perhaps the worst defeat in British military history. A 130,000 British and Commonwealth troops became prisoners of war. Many died. All suffered. Tens of thousands of Singaporeans were executed, reprisal for backing the Chinese in their long war against Japan.
It was all darkness. The world that we knew had disappeared. And these strange people with guttural voices that we didn't understand were in charge of our lives, and they were cruel, brutal. It was the Dark Ages come to us, descended on us.
A unit of the Japanese 18th Division came along this railway line and up the slope to the Alexandra Hospital. Dick New was one of many wounded crammed in a corridor on mattresses. He became aware of a huge Japanese soldier, bristling with weapons, towering over him.
And as he looked at me, and I looked up at him, he grinned, and he had a gold filling. You can see it now on the left as he grinned, you know, like that. I could see that gold. And because I don't know whether I smiled back, maybe I fucking did, because I was shitting myself anyway. You know what I mean? You're not brave. You're not brave in yourself. You can't run anywhere, you can't defend yourself. What's going to happen to me? And you're feeling weak, you lost blood, you're knackered. But you get that butterfly feeling, what's going to happen here?
60 years on, Dick Lee returns to the Alexandra Hospital in Singapore.
While he was looking down at me, his friend had noticed an Australian soldier, wounded, coming down the stairs here, with his arm in a sling.
Yes!
He had no jacket on at the top, just a pair of pyjama trousers, so his body was bare. As he come down the stairs, the second nip, as he stopped here like this, the second nip came over and just put the bayonet straight into him, standing here. As he stepped back and walked away, then I saw the Australian put his other hand up in front of the wound, and the blood was all running out of his fingers, and he just collapsed on the floor.
The Japanese ignored Dick Lee and went on a rampage. They slaughtered the wounded. They machine-gunned 9 orderlies who died pointing in vain to their Red Cross armbands. They bayoneted a patient on an operating table and shot the surgeons.
They could see people were lying there, defenceless. I couldn't imagine in my wildest dreams our blokes ever going in and doing what they done. It's tough.
Next week on Hell in the Pacific, the extraordinary fate of the Australian nurses evacuated from Singapore. America strikes back at Midway, and the bitter island war begins.
Mic check 1, 2.
Congratulations. You reject the good enough. You reject words like symbolism and postmodernism. Obsolescence is not part of your vocabulary. Every night, every day, every step of the way. The diktat of fashion. The agenda of the color wheel. Gone. It takes more than a pretty face to catch your attention. I repeat. It takes more than a pretty face to catch your attention. Good. That is very good. We are source decoded. For you. For the most perfect moisturizer. The most advanced cosmetic lineup. Scientifically proven, scientifically tested. For you.
Congratulations, calibration completed.